Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum, bemus papam, eminentissimum, ac reverendissimum Dominum, Dominum Robertum Franciscum, Sancte Romane Ecclesiae Cardinalem Prevost, qui sibi nomen imposuit Leonem XIV.
I would be willing to bet that every Catholic who could would be watching live.
I was very shocked when his name was announced in Latin, Robertus Franciscus Prevost. I couldn't believe it.
And I looked at that and I thought, I taught the Pope.
Me too.
I came in 78, and he did as well. So we were both new. And I taught Old Testament at CTU.
He struck me as a quiet person, but on the other hand, someone who was deadly serious about what he was pursuing and a real commitment to the job.
My first memory of Bob, that's how he was known in those days, was in a theological reflection group at CTU.
He was a good student. He was an A student, that's all I can tell you.
He was one that I paid attention to.
Bob would always have something to add, to talk about that was pertinent, it was focused.
I kept abreast of what he was doing and his progression, if you want, up the ecclesiastical ladder.
But what he had to say was well worth listening to.
The atmosphere at CTU at the time was very ecumenical and interreligious.
What we teach, the kind of theology we teach, is broad theology, not narrow theology.
Well, I think it had a great effect on Pope Leo, in the sense that, at CTU, courses are taught, but always with an eye on the big question. And that big question is, so what? Which
means open up to different contexts, different cultures.
It's not for the sake of just learning them, but it's the sake of, okay, what difference does that make in the lives of people?
Also, when you open theology up that way, in many cases, there is not one answer. There are answers.
The way in which we were taught at CTU was always in a pastoral mode. That was very important, but also the whole question of justice and the multicultural aspects of what we learned in terms of theology. And I think that Bob took that to Peru with him.
So from 1990 to 1999, we lived together in Trujillo. Peru is going through a very difficult decade because of the two terrorist movements, because of the great poverty. He promoted soup kitchens.
I said, look at the people. They are human beings. Don't just ladle out the soup as if it's a machine. Be involved in their lives. Show them that you think that they are worthy, that they have a right to that food. So that's how you teach them to make theology operative.
He and I and all the seminarians would participate in Trujillo in pro-democracy marches.
I would say I think my biggest influence on the new Pope has to do with the promulgation of the history of Catholic social teaching.
You see in that a model of church, a vision of church that is the continuation of Pope Francis's vision in the synodal church. But this was in place, as I say, 30 years before they talked about a synodal church. It was already working there, promoting the lay people to be co-responsible for the life of the church because we all share our baptism. Baptism is the fundamental call that unites all Christians and makes us all co-responsible for the life of Christ's church. So I think that's a fundamental aspect of the education at CTU. So that vision of a missionary church, a church sent into the world and not withdrawn from the world, is fundamental to the CTU ecclesial vision.
CTU really, and myself in these areas, helped to seed a permanent place in his own consciousness on the importance of both a commitment to social justice and also a commitment to ecumenical and interreligious relations. That's, I suppose, the most satisfying aspect of having taught him. Of course, I had absolutely no idea where he was going to eventually wind up.
CTU formed the mindset of Pope Leo when he was a student here, and became the foundation for his vision of church and ministry that I saw and lived with and worked along with in Peru.
I do not think that the Pope was born with a golden chalice in his hands. So I think it does him a disservice to think how special he was even as a child. Every child is special. Every child is filled with possibility. The issue is what you do with it when you realize you have it. As he took advantage of the opportunity, you have an opportunity here now.
So CTU as a multicultural international school is also something that makes it different from many other schools. People from all over the world that have come to CTU to study with professors who are very experienced and expert in missiology, in how to proclaim the gospel in other cultures. Just sitting there and listening not only to the professor, but also to the other people in the class is the real sense of the difference of CTU and the richness that's there in terms of learning about the broader experience of what it means to be Catholic in a global church.
You have an opportunity to learn what he learned, to be exposed to what he was exposed to. You have the opportunity to get an education that will enable you to be part of the formation of the future ministers of the church. That's why you should go to CTU.
Come to CTU to do that.
Come on in.